Hodge with a Sick'em 365 post-game call-in show coming to you after Baylor's 73-58 loss on Senior Day. Woo, that was bad. It kind of reminded me of the Oklahoma State game last year. Emory brought back some memories of that, just looked flat, and obviously credit goes to Iowa State. They played terrific. TJ Alserberger had his guys ready. They came in for the fight, and they delivered the first punch. Baylor did actually make a game of it in the second half. They cut it to 4, and you thought, okay, the crowd's into it. This is some momentum. It's like 36-32, I think was the score at the time. But then Iowa State immediately goes on a 10-0 run and puts the Bears away. Terrific performance by their seniors. You know, Jaron Holmes played great. Gabe Kalsher had a great game for them as well. They scored 16 points for Holmes and 12 for Kalsher. And really the key stat to me was the points in the paint. 36 points for Iowa State and only 14 for Baylor. That has really been the Achilles heel for this Baylor team all season long, and today was no different. But the offense just really let the Bears down today. Not your typical good performance from the Bears offensively. We knew that Iowa State was capable of playing, you know, really hard-nosed, terrific defense, and they did that today. The Bears only scored 58 points and really got some, you know, three-pointers from Adam Flagler late in the game to make it look more respectable. But it was a butt whipping from start to finish. This is a call-in show. Call-in shows are always better with calls. I know there'll probably be some agitated fans out there that want to vent. 254-339-1122. You know, I do want to talk about the real MVPs of this game, though. We got to give a hat tip to Chris Pashy, Marcus Pettigrew, Ray Natili, the 3 officials. As a fan, I'm watching this, and I'm just sick and tired of us getting smashed in the lane. Smashed! It's a joke! I tried to do a little Bruce Pearl stick there, but hopefully I don't get canceled. What did you see, Emory? What did you like about the game?
You know what I like about the game? There wasn't much that I liked about that game. But I will say I kind of knew what we were going into in those first 3 minutes of the game. I think it was Keontae missed a shot, LJ missed a shot, and then Flagler missed a shot. And it's like, okay, all right, let's see how this one goes.
It wasn't our day. And as I tell myself all the time, as I say my affirmations in the mirror every morning, I say my happiness is not going to be dependent upon 18 to 22-year-old student athletes. And I had to repeat that to myself as I walked to the car today. But we are having LJ Cryer and Dale Bonner come in. I feel bad for them having to come in after a loss. I know they're probably not wanting to do this, but Dale did just text me and said he's on the way, and I'm assuming LJ is going to be here too. So we have questions for them. And you know, let's keep it in perspective. Number one, Emory, it is a lot harder to win 12 games in a row than it is to win 9 games in a row.
This is true.
This is all we got to do now. We've done it before. You know, we've done it multiple times in the last few years. We've won 9 games in a row. So that is the recipe that if you win 9 games in a row, rumor has it that you are national champions and Big 12 champions, at the tournament champions at least. So we're the 4 seed. We're going to play TCU. That's locked and loaded now. That's a tough matchup, but it is 11:30 game. It is going to be an emptier gym. You're not having to face the home crowds that we know, you know, Kansas and Iowa State and Kansas State bring to the table. So that's an advantage. And then, of course, you're slated to play Kansas in the Thursday night game. Whoever wins that game, TCU is a tough matchup. We got killed in points in the paint against them at TCU and certainly in Waco. So we got our hands full, but, you know, we've beaten them once and we almost beat them in Waco. You know, but they didn't have Mike Miles for the return game. So it's going to be a tough team to beat, but we've shown we're capable of beating them. And maybe Iowa State's our worst matchup. I mean, man, they play physical, hard-nosed defense, and they foul a lot. And, you know, the officials sometimes call them, sometimes don't. They probably will call it tighter in the NCAA tournament. That may be a disadvantage for them. But in today, you know, they let them play, and they certainly out-toughed the Bears and, you know, out-hustled. You know, the points in the paint were one indication. The rebounds, another. 36 rebounds for Baylor, 24 for Iowa State. There were just a lot of telling signs. And their free throw defense was terrific. They hold the Bears to 10 for 18 from the free throw line and, you know, 1 for 5 from Flagler. So kudos to them for just throwing that incredible free throw defense out that they did today. man, the Bears, I mean, they were missing open shot. Like, I mean, that's the thing that's frustrating. Some of those threes went late, but in the early on, I mean, we're getting wide open looks and just missing them. Just frustrating game all around. 254-339-1122 is the number to call. Do we have anything yet?
Nope, not yet.
Calling shows after blowout losses, I think, have tended to be much less on the calls. But let's surprise us. Call if you got some vents, if you got some questions. Obviously I'm getting a ton of text about, everybody kind of sees it as doomsday after a loss. And you just have to keep things in perspective. The Big 12 is a grind. We've just gone through the 18th round of an 18 round heavyweight, match. We knew that we could not win, the Big 12 conference, obviously, because Kansas and their magical home court advantage. Did you see that tweet that I put out by chance?
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so let's talk about
28-1.
It's unbelievable. So
unreal.
You got a 29-game sample at home, and I went through all the great teams. In the Big 12, I think the best record was 19. Well, I got it here. I'm going to pull it up. It was like 19-11 or 10, Kansas State. They had the second best record in close games because, games decided by 5 points or less are kind of coin flip games. And you would assume that at home, you're going to win more of those than you lose, okay? But on a 29-game sample, about 65% is a pretty good percentage. And, as I scoured the nation and started looking at other teams, Villanova and North Carolina and Duke, Duke always gets accused of having this tremendous home court advantage. Virginia. Now, Virginia makes sense to me because they're such a grinded out possession, low possession team that in close games, you would think that they would shine. They were 20-9, which is impressive. But Kansas, 28-1. How is that statistically possible? That's ridiculous. 28-1 and 5 points or less at home. I mean, it wouldn't shock me. I'm not making any accusations, but if some tell-all book came out about how the officials were like, the whole thing was rigged and Kansas would never lose a home game because of this like corrupt, situation, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, it's unbelievable. That defies statistical logic. And because of that, Baylor, didn't have a Big 12 championship to play for today. I actually think this is a prediction. I don't know if it'll come true, but I actually think Texas is going to beat them pretty soundly because Kansas has a number 1 seed wrapped up, whether they win or lose today, and they're playing at Texas. I bet Texas, lays it on them, kind of similar to what we did to Kansas when Pierre Jackson was a senior, beat them 81-58 in the Farrell Center. So if this is the last conference game, it's going to be a disappointing outcome because we got our butts kicked 73-58, and that's not a good way to close down the Farrell Center. Maybe Adam Flagler's last game in a Baylor uniform. Maybe Flo Thamba's, definitely is Flo Thamba's last game in a uniform. And maybe Dale Bonner. I saw somebody say on the post game that he mentioned that this would be his last game at Baylor. But I don't know. He's got some eligibility left, so we can ask him about that when he gets here. And then LJ Cryer is supposed to come as well. So 254-339-1122 is the number. Still no calls?
Yeah, we got Diane from Grand Prairie.
Hey, Diane. How you doing?
Hi, Ashley. Diane. I
Yep.
was the one that posted about Dale's comments on Postgame show.
So I didn't hear it. What did he say? What did he say?
He just said that he's been so happy here during his time, but that sadly he was a senior. And I was like, huh? But
well, it's possible. Like these players are so laser focused right now on the season. I mean, it's fully possible that some of them don't even know they have another year of eligibility left. I mean, we'll ask him about that when he comes. But I would not be shocked. I mean, these guys live in such a, scouting report to next practice to next game type mentality during the season. They don't really have time like us fans have to think about the future.
And he was definitely dialed into the fact that it was senior night. He talked about his family being there, and so that definitely was top of mind. That it was he had the senior night mentality, which Coach Drew also talked about that as being a real impetus for highs and lows. Being the senior night, that sometimes it gets in their heads that this is the last time they're going to play in front of their home crowd, and that sometimes it sometimes it lights you afire, and sometimes it ends up in something like we saw today. But it was a disappointing finish, but I'm looking forward to seeing them finish out next week, see what the seeding is. I'd like to hear what you think their chances of getting a Sacramento spot for regional is, because I've already got my lodging hooked up there.
Yeah, I think they're trending towards a 3 seed. I think 1 seed's off the table, more than likely. But if they win the Big 12 tournament, then they're probably locked into a 2 for sure. And I mean, a lot can happen. Alabama lost today, and if Alabama loses again in their conference tournament, and UCLA takes a couple losses, I mean, there's still a lot of chaos that can happen. Purdue obviously could lose a couple games, or at least, they got one more regular season game. I don't even know who they play, but then they could lose in the Big Ten tournament as well. But I just don't know. It's so up in the air. Denver, if Baylor was a 1 seed, Denver would kind of make sense as the closest location. But they're not a 1 seed, and sometimes they'll give a 2 or 3 seed a little bit of regional preference. But Baylor's just not in a position to control their destiny right now. If they end up a 3 seed, then they could be sent anywhere. Sacramento is certainly a possibility. And we do play TCU. That's locked in. That's locked in no matter what happens in these afternoon games. We're going to play TCU on Thursday.
I'd sure like to get sweet revenge on them for that game, too. So, anyway, looking forward to hearing from the guys. Thanks, as always.
Thanks, Diane. Appreciate it. Sick 'em. All right. 254-339-1122 is the number. Any other calls waiting?
Yeah, we got Matt in D.C.
Hey, what's up, Matt? How you doing? Welcome to the Postgame Call-In Show with Ashley Hodge, and hopefully Del Bonner and LJ Cryer will be here soon.
What in the hell was that shooting today, guys? That was insane.
Yeah.
I was very, very disappointed by the shooting performance, and I don't know if it's a lack of focus or whatever. But I thought there was some good defense, no matter what. It sucks that we lost that. But I think it was overall a very good season. I think we won a couple of those first close games at the beginning of the year. We're possibly conference champs. And playing for that maybe today. But anyway, I think it was a good year. We all had that great 11-game stretch. We're healthy. I think so we're locked into that game against TCU next week. I think hopefully we get that 2 seed, but I have an opinion, or get y'all's opinion on this for next week. Is it better for Baylor to get bounced out of the conference tournament early to get a lot more practice for March Madness, or to
win it?
Get the
it's
momentum,
better.
Win it. Go. Yeah.
I think
I've heard different takes on it,
I think
okay, that's what, because I could see it both sides of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done the research on this. I think it's like 50% of national champions win their conference tournament. It's a pretty high percentage number. The problem is everybody's going to point to a couple years ago when we got beat by Oklahoma State, and that rest, that extra rest was good for us and really helped us prepare for the NCAA tournament. Totally different situation where it's a COVID year. Right. I was told we got the second shot right before that Oklahoma State game. And so there was maybe some sluggishness or some issues there. I don't want to go down that rabbit trail. Let's not talk about vaccinations on this show. I've already got a chance of being canceled after the Bruce Pearl type rant. But I think that overall, I just a big believer that you just try to win every game. So, and we have depth. We have depth. I don't know if Langston Love's going to play in the conference tournament, but I'm told he's absolutely going to play in the NCAA tournament. And I think that we have enough depth that we can make a run and win 3 games in 3 days. But man, we can't play like we did today. We got to play a lot better than this, obviously.
Absolutely. Yeah, but I think this Big 12 tournament may be probably one of the best, most competitive, probably ever. So I'm looking forward to hopefully get it. And then.
Yeah, I mean, you got Kansas doesn't really have a whole lot of motivation. I mean, they're going to be in front of their home crowd, so I think they'll probably play well. But I mean, you got teams like Oklahoma State and Texas Tech that are going to be hungry because it's like life or death for them. If they don't win games in the tournament, they're not in the NCAA tournament. So, it's going to be interesting to see. But Baylor plays TCU, and that's going to be their lot, and that's a tough matchup for them, but 2 close games, and one they won and one that they should have won in Waco. So we'll see what happens.
Yep, let's get it, and hope to see y'all guys in Houston in April. Thank y'all.
Yep. Thanks, Matt. Appreciate it. 254-339-1122. Any other calls? Waiting?
Nope, not at the moment.
All right. As we're waiting, let me check my text, make sure that see if LJ has responded. Not yet. So hopefully Dale will be here soon. Yeah. Well, Emory, what else? What other comments do you have? We're watching Kansas State and West Virginia now, and Kansas State was up big on West Virginia, but West Virginia's gone on a nice little run. You know, that's a team, West Virginia needs to win this game to feel comfortable. They're 39-37 at half. So that's the other Big 12 score out there. You were in the studio. You watched a bit of Texas A&M and Alabama, right? Or at least the ending of it.
Yep.
What stood out there? Did A&M, like, was it an ugly game? Or we looked at Brandon Miller's shooting stats, and he ends up 7 for 23, 2 for 12 from 3. So he had a rough game offensively, 5 turnovers. But A&M wins 67-61. Big win for the Aggies. One that I'm not surprised about. I don't know how Alabama's keeping the plate spinning with all this, chaos around them. I kind of feel like that could be a team that could lose in that first weekend just because of all the controversy that's spinning around the program right now. It's a huge distraction. And then, another really surprising result from today was Seton Hall going into Providence, and Providence was favored by 7.5 points, and Seton Hall blows out Providence 82-58. So there's, sometimes on senior days, these things happen. Like Scott Drew, Diane alluded to this. Scott Drew said that in the post-game interview. It's just, one of those situations where sometimes the emotions can make you play a little tight. And maybe that was the case. I just didn't see the energy. I'm curious to ask the guys when they get here, but it just seemed like we didn't have the pop. Mm-hmm. It was at our first 11 o'clock. It may have been our first 11 o'clock game this year.
Definitely first in a while, that's for sure.
Because we've been playing later in the afternoon most days.
But yeah, what's crazy about the Providence game too is it was in Rhode Island, and they still got. They got blown out.
Right. Yeah.
But that A&M Alabama game, A&M, they started off hot. They were. Yeah. I think they went up like 20 to, I can't remember the exact score, but they got to 20 real quick.
Right.
And then they just kind of held that lead pretty much the whole game.
Right.
Did a good job on Miller from Alabama, but
yeah,
pretty crazy.
Man, does somebody need to tell TJ Otzelberger that you don't have to order your polo shirts 2 sizes too small?
He does like them tight.
He likes them tight, man. Good grief. The rest of his staff kind of, gives a little room for their muscles and chest to breathe, but not TJ, man. He likes to put that shirt on as tight as possible. Like, he's probably, I would guess, maybe a medium, but I think he's extra small in those T-shirts.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but, you got to, going back to the Baylor game, Iowa State's defense, you got to give them props. They're
good. They're good.
They are crazy good.
Yeah. And I was talking to a diehard Iowa State fan before the game, and he talked to TJ in the lobby of the hotel, and TJ's like, I think we're going to play really well. Sometimes losing a player that maybe have some attitude issues can be a real uplifting thing for the team, and maybe that's the case with Caleb Grill. They lost him, and boy, they played well without him.
Yep. So I was listening to an interview earlier this week, and we had on a Iowa State reporter, and he was talking about how Grill had been injured for four or so games during the season, so they knew how to play without him.
Right.
So maybe it was just that little attitude adjustment.
Yeah.
Get everyone in check.
Yeah, and he's playing through pain, a little edgy, wasn't playing really well, and said some things evidently, about TJ Otzelberger that you just can't say as a player, some insubordination type stuff, and so they parted ways with him. His tweet made it sound like he had some mental health issues, so prayers up to him. I hope he finds peace, that's something you never want to see a student athlete struggle with. There's so much pressure on these guys. I kind of dread, thinking about what some of these guys may be getting on social media right now. Hopefully they don't check it. But the gamblers, always the gamblers are going to be after them, like, you bums, you can't cover at home or whatever. Who knows what they're saying. I tend to tune all that stuff out. But man, it's tough when you're 18 to 22 years old and all of your affirmations coming from social media, and I bet it's pretty brutal for some of these guys when they're on a losing streak. And Iowa State had lost like 8 out of their last 11 games before today, so they were a wounded team. Very hungry. They were safe as far as their NCAA tournament. They were in, the tournament for sure because of the work they did earlier in the season, but still, you want to get as high a seed as possible. So Baylor, I think we were talking about this before we started the podcast, but I think Baylor's probably going to be a 3 seed now, unless they win the Big 12 tournament. If they win the Big 12 tournament, then I think they're locked into the 2. And, they can certainly do some damage from the 3. It's a wide open tournament this year. No great teams. But it's a lot easier if you're a 1 or a 2, and you certainly get easier draws. That 6 draw to get out of the opening weekend is going to be tough. The 6-11 draw, and then of course you're playing the 4-5. Let's see, 3 seed. Yeah, Sweet 16 game. You might be playing the 4-5, which is a team pretty comparable to you, and then of course you get the 1 seed you probably have to go through. I'm not thinking properly. You have to go through the 4-5 to get to the. You'd have to play the. Help me think through this. So you're a 3. You play the 14 first, and then you play the 6-11. Okay.
Right.
And then you move on to the next weekend. Yeah, and you're playing the 2-3. Yeah, I don't know what I'm thinking. All right, you're playing the 2 seed, the 2-7 type seed, and then you go. To play the 1 seed or the 4 or 5 seed after that to get to the Final Four. Yeah, my mind's all jumbled. This is what it does to you, man. This is what losing does to you. It just jumbles your mind, and you just have like all these thoughts rolling around in your head, and you can't focus.
Yep.
All right. No more calls, huh?
No, not at the moment.
All right. 254-339-1122. If you're listening to this, please call in with your questions, your comments. I'm going to get on the I don't think our guys tweeted this out. They normally do. Let's see. No text link today. All right. We got some guys asleep at the wheel. Didn't text it out. All right. So let's get through these some of these comments on the thread here before we hopefully welcome Dell and LJ here soon. Let's see.
But yeah, something about Baylor is, we've shown that we can beat anyone, but then we've also shown games like this where it doesn't. We can definitely lose too.
We've taken some blowout losses this year. Yeah. So, Iowa State's had our number, to be obvious. So today they hold us to 0.88 points per possession, which is incredible for how good our offense is. I maybe the only time that we've been held under 1 point per possession in conference. Well, probably at Iowa State too, I bet. But yeah, so we lose to Marquette by 26. We lost to Iowa State by 15 at their place, and then we lose to Kansas by 16, lost to Kansas State by 10, and then Iowa State by 15. We're capable of blowing other teams out too. We've shown that, but the offense, just the efficiency of the offense just let us down today, and really unusual on the home court, but hopefully it's just a blip in the radar, and Keontae is back from injury and he has a better game. He played okay. Adam did some good things in the second half. I think he had 2 points at half and he ends up with 20. He was 5 for 8 from 3. That was good to see. But again, 1 for 5 from the free throw line. LJ's 5 for 5 from the free throw line, but he had a rough shooting day. He ends up 2 for 5 from 3, only 1 for 6 from the 2-point range. Dale scores 8 points in the first half. Has 1 assist, no turnovers, but didn't score in the second half. Jonathan Chamachachua, he has 7 rebounds. He's 1 for 3 from the field. Flo kind of disappeared from a production standpoint. He plays 19 minutes and 1 for 2 from the free throw line and 2 rebounds, 2 turnovers and 4 fouls. So tough night for him. As far as the box score. And then Jalen Bridges, just an uncharacteristically poor game from him. He's been so solid all year. 6 rebounds. He ends up 1 for 9 from the field. He did some good things. Just had a block, had a steal, only 1 turnover, 14 turnovers for the Bears overall, 14 for Iowa State as well. But, one of the key stats that we talked about already was just getting out rebounded. 36-24. And the Bears missed so many shots that you would think they would grab more than 8 rebounds on the offensive end. They only grabbed 22% of their offensive misses, and they missed a total of, let's see, they took 53 shots and only made 19. So that's like 34 misses, and only get 8 of those. So yeah, it was just a rough game all around, and just one of those that you want to flush and hopefully get out of your mind and get the winning feeling back against your rival, TCU. You don't want to have any excuses to lose to them in Kansas City because there's no crowd. Baylor's going to have more fans there than TCU will have. So, that's just a big opportunity. All right, we got Dell and LJ in here. You want to do a transition and we'll get them on the headset and we'll get going.
Go ahead and do that.
Hey, guys. Grab a seat, put on the headsets, and speak close to the mic because they won't be able to hear you unless you get real close to the mic. I know this is not what you guys want to do. All right, let's see. We got the mics on, Emery?
Yep.
All right. This is Ashley Hodge. I think my mic's dead.
Can you
hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Well, it's or maybe my earphone, but I don't know. I don't know if the audience can hear me. So this is Ashley Hodge coming to you again. I got LJ Cryer, Dell Bonner to my right, LJ further down. We got a lot of questions for you guys. But we want calls too. So 254-339-1122 is the number. Call in with your questions if you have them. I got any calls in the hopper right now? Armstrong, okay.
Nope.
Emery Armstrong.
Not at the moment.
My mind's all messed up. All right, so I got some questions for you guys from the message boards. First of all, for Dale, do you prefer playing point guard or shooting guard? And don't say whatever the team needs. I want to know what you prefer.
What do I prefer? I'm used to playing point guard, but whatever they need me to be. That's what I'm
the tendencies there.
Yeah, the tendencies are there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And LJ, who's the best shooter on the team, and who's the second best?
I'm the best shooter on the team. I don't know who's second best.
Yeah.
I'll let y'all decide that.
All right, very good. All right, we got more questions here. This is from Dubbikins. For Dale, I know the fans appreciate what you've been able to do the last couple games. This was obviously before today, but you played well. Not just the production, but the kind of maturity and selflessness that it takes to be ready when you don't know if your number is going to get called speaks to your character as a person. How are you able to maintain your focus and effort despite what was certainly some personal disappointment this season when you saw your role and your minutes reduced? That's the first question. The second question, as a leader on this team, how can you use your example and experience to mentor some of the younger guys who might be disappointed with their role, during the season as well?
I wouldn't say I was more so disappointed, but it's whatever. It's the coach's decision on who to play, and I just happen to not be playing, and I just continue to work every day and just work on my game, whether I was playing or not. I'm gonna do that.
Right.
And growing up, I've been in the same situation like AAU and other situations as well growing up, so I was kind of used to it, and I just didn't let it affect me at all.
Your dad was a coach, right?
Yeah, my dad was,
Yeah.
yep, part of my AAU team. Once again, I didn't let it affect me.
Right.
I love the game, and whether I'm playing or not, I'm going to continue to grind.
Yeah, very good. All right, and LJ, this is congrats on a great regular season. Look forward to supporting y'all during March Madness. Sick 'em. That's to both of you. Okay. This was a question that came up while you guys were on the way to the studio. Someone said you were like they interviewed you in the post game, and you can answer this or not answer it if you don't want to. But you have another year of eligibility at Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
Is this it for you? Was this your last game at Baylor, or is that to be determined?
To be determined for sure.
To be determined.
Yeah.
Okay. Because I think they said the way you answered it made them think that you were done, like this was your last game in the Pharaoh. But
we'll see.
yeah.
We'll see.
Okay. All right. This is a question from Scotty B, the Baylor King. Who is the hardest person to guard on defense in practice on the team, and who is the hardest person in the Big 12 this year? We'll start with LJ.
Practice? I would say, I guess, D'Antoine Grimes. We play against him every day in practice. A lot of us are always on the same team just because we like to practice with the rotations we're going to have in the game.
Right.
So when Twan's on the other team, he really pushes the tempo. He's always attacking downhill, so it prepares us for the game.
Yeah, very good.
Oh, and then you said Big 12.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough.
Yeah, I don't know.
Got some good choices like Noel at Kansas State. Not really. Like Mike Miles at TCU. Trying to think of the really fast, guys that you would go up against individually, or even some of the bigger guards. Maybe, you get probably stuck on Jalen Wilson, or
I would probably say Mike Miles.
Yeah.
Mike Miles.
Mike Miles
Yeah.
pretty good.
Okay. All right, this is from Fozzie. It's kind of a ridiculous question. If you had to wear another Big 12 school's gear for a day, which school would you choose and why?
No, sir.
I don't think I'll wear any other team's colors. Cool.
Yeah.
I like gritty yellow.
LJ, same answer for you?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
can't do that.
All right, this is from Spot Up. Oh yeah, okay. This is just comment on another question. This was a question that came up because of Adam Flagler. So we had Adam in here recently. Was it the Texas game? I think the Texas game. Are we have any calls waiting?
Yeah, we got one.
All right, let's take the call and then we'll go back to this question.
Okay, we got Sean Eric.
Sean Urich. Hey Sean, this is Ashley Hodge.
Hey Ashley,
I'm good.
Yeah, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good. Yeah. Well, we're good because we know there's still hope and a future, right?
Right.
This was not the end. This was only the beginning.
Yep.
But hey guys, thanks for joining the call-in show. I guess I might be interested in both of your thoughts on this question, which is just, you've both been on teams in the last couple of years where our defense has functioned at an extremely high level. Obviously, the national title team, LJ, you practiced with that team all year and played some minutes there earlier in the year, even at key times. So what do you think we need to do to turn the corner there? Because it seemed like we sort of had turned the corner. We played pretty well on defense for a couple of games, and then it seems like today we had the issue again where we're allowing way too many points in the paint. And I'm just curious what you guys' thoughts are on maybe what you think we can work on between now and when the Big 12 tournament starts.
I think it just all comes down to preparation at the end of the day. How you prepare is like how you going to go out there and play in the game. So I think that's just the main thing right now. And today I felt like defensively, to start off the game, we had like 2 shot clock violations. So, the defense was there early, but it just had to carry over for the rest of the game.
Do you feel like the offense not playing well? You're missing open shots that you guys normally make. It was a struggle offensively. Do you feel like that affected your defense? Just as the game went on, it just was like, you had that run. I think you might have hit the 3 where you cut it to 36-32, and then they immediately went on a 10-0 run. Was that just deflating, and that as a player just affects your effort on the defensive end sometimes?
From the outside looking in, it probably does look like it affect our defense. But, we preach in practice to never let shots not going in affect your defense. At the end of the day, offense doesn't travel. Offense isn't always going to be going, but defense does. So we just got to lock in on that side of the ball.
Right.
And that's how we'll get more wins.
Yeah. Dale, you got any additional comments to that?
It's just tough when you're trying to trade baskets, You get a bucket, and then they come down and score. Just think tweak some things and, just continue to stay connected and control what we can control. So do that, we'll be fine.
Well, the positive thing is it's a lot harder to win 12 games in a row than it is to win 9 in a row. Mm-hmm. And you guys have won 9 in a row several times in the last few years. So, I'm joking, but it is like, really, now you've done it. You've had streaks this year, and if you could just like start to build some momentum, I think. Do you play TCU on Wednesday? Did you or Thursday? Yeah, TCU. You play TCU in the morning game, no matter what happens this afternoon. So that's your opponent for the Big 12 tournament. And then who knows where we'll be sent for the NCAA tournament. But, I mean, is there a renewed excitement? You've been through this a couple times, LJ. Once the actual tournaments start, the Big 12 tournament and then the NCAA tournament, is it just a renewed excitement that happens with the team? You're through the grind of the Big 12 season, and now you're like, okay, this is when we get extra jolt of energy here.
Yeah, most def, because, I mean, like today – I guess we're like sitting in third place in the Big 12 or something like that. I mean, we won today. We weren't going to get first.
Right.
So I feel like it gives us another thing to play for when the tournament starts. So we're playing for a championship all over again. So I feel like that's going to motivate the team.
Yeah, for sure. Do you guys want water? I've got some Essentia waters if you want one.
I actually will take one. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all right. I know Keontae was doing an NIL deal with Essentia. This has nothing to do with that, but I did have some of those. All right, 254-339-1122 is the number to call in if you've got questions. So the question that Adam Flagler, they want to know is Adam mentioned that he's developed, quite a shoe collection, and he's like spending some of his money to purchase shoes. You guys probably do the same thing, but what is team issued and what do you have to spend your own money on? That was a question that came up.
What do you mean?
Like with shoes, like Adam was saying, he's trying to get a hold of some special Kobe's or just like trying to get like some certain shoes. Do you get almost anything you want from Nike, or do you, like, if it's something that's like rare, obviously you got to go to the secondary market, you got to buy that yourself, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we get a lot of Kyrie's, Paul George's,
right.
LeBron's, like whoever's the guy with Nike right now, we'll get a lot of those shoes. But
Giannis.
Like Giannis, but we'll get them in like team issue colors,
right.
like white, green, or yellow. So anytime you see like white, green, or yellow shoes, that's from
team issued.
Yeah, but a lot of us play with our in our own shoes that we buy. So
yeah,
I've never played in the team issues or a team bought shoe. So
okay, yeah. But it's got to be Nike, right?
Yeah.
It's got to be Nike. Yeah. Yep. I heard a rumor there was a player at Texas Tech that didn't like Under Armour, and
I've seen that.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple times too. Yep.
Okay, we got more questions here. This is from, what are your favorite places to eat in Waco, and when you can have a cheat meal? So let's start with you, Dale. What's your favorite place to eat in Waco?
Cheat meals. Me being from Cleveland, we don't have no In-N-Out, so probably In-N-Out.
Okay.
Cane's or like.
What do you like there? What's your go-to at In-N-Out?
Double. Just plain double, fries and pink lemonade.
Do you like their fries?
Yeah, they hot.
Yeah.
Yeah, they cool.
Overrated.
A little bit.
Yeah. Milkshake? Are you a milkshake guy?
Sometimes, but majority of the time, pink lemonade.
Pink lemonade?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about you, LJ? Any favorites places in Waco?
I don't get around too much. I'm a Chick-fil-A guy, but I mean, cheat meal, I'll say Insomnia cookies. That's about it. But I don't really go crazy.
I had you in for a NIL interview last year, LJ. I think it was you and Langston together, maybe. And I remember asking you about like what TV shows you watch, and you said you watch a lot of cartoons, like Disney stuff. Is that, you still do that? Is that kind of your relaxing, away from basketball type routine?
I haven't been watching as much Disney. I mean, last year I felt like I had more time with me being injured to watch, but I feel like now I've just been so locked in. I've watched a lot of basketball, honestly.
Right. Yeah. Okay, so this is
We got another call on the line.
let's take that call for sure.
All right, we got Jammin' Jones.
Jammin' Jones. Okay, this is an interesting name. Welcome to the Postgame Call-In Show. Ashley Hodge, Dale Bonner, LJ Cryer.
Thank you. My name is Javen.
Jamin.
I've actually been watching. Javen, Jayv.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yep.
Yeah, no problem. I've actually been watching Dale and LJ for a long time, and I was just calling just to seek some advice just on. I'm currently an NAI player right now, and I was just trying to figure out like if people who are playing in the D1 circuit, like if it's possible for guys like me to ever reach that circuit, and what needs to be done from you guys.
Great question. Dale, you want to start? Because I know you came from Division II and Fairmont State. You know, what would your advice be?
I would just say, like, don't focus on like trying to go D1, or just be comfortable where you're at, and just continue to grind. And you know, if you put up the numbers, or you feel like you can take that next step and try and go D1, then take that leap of faith and bet on yourself. I would say, you know, just continue to work and bet on yourself. That's pretty much it. You know, if it's meant for you to be D1, they're gonna find you, just like that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, LJ, any comments?
I mean, just keep getting better day by day. Don't focus on your situation that you're in right now, because it can always get better and it can always be worse. I felt like my freshman year, I wasn't in the ideal situation that I thought I was going to be in, but you know, it's not your plan, it's God's plan at the end of the day. So I mean, you just got to trust in Him, and at the end of the day, just keep getting better and better, and everything will work out.
Yep.
Absolutely. Thank you guys. I appreciate the time.
Hey, great questions. Yeah, so this just comes to mind, but I know like Coach Brooks is your body language guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like, how much time do you spend on that in film study? Is that something that coaches take you aside, like, and talk to you about? Like, I had this happen today. I play pickup basketball. I'm obviously nowhere in the ballpark of you guys, but we have a pickup game. There's like 4 or 5 former college players. Mm-hmm. And this one guy came in that was a former college player, and I'm like, oh, yeah, because he's so much fun to play with. He's so positive. Like every time I get an open shot, he's like, oh, man, next one's going to go in. And then another guy who is also a really good college player, he's like the opposite. He's like, dude, you got to make that, you know, and then you start to tense up and you get like stressed out, and it just like is a bad aura for the team. Like, is that kind of stuff emphasized with you guys? Like making sure you're always like, you know, I notice you point to each other a lot, and you like, you know, try to dap each other up during the game, and obviously it's easier to do when you're winning. But even after a loss like today, is it even you double down on that kind of stuff and try to critique, you know, your body language?
I feel like this year our team does a pretty good job with body language. So, I mean, it hasn't really been talked about a whole lot. I mean, they show us the charts of how many high fives and stuff we give, their engagement, like points, hugs. So, I mean, I feel like we do it pretty well as a team, and we just preach positivity. At the end of the day, when things aren't going our way, you got to be positive. Rather that's lifting your teammates up, not saying anything negative in the huddle. So, I mean, that's all. That's what he preaches.
Yeah, very good. We got any other calls, Emory?
Nope, not at the
Nothing
moment.
right now? Okay, we got a couple more questions here. This is from Z Bears for Bonner. I'm sure that you saw the replay of your first 3 against Texas and Scott Drew's reaction to that. He looked so happy and excited for you. How do you mentally stay prepared to step up when your name is called? You kind of already answered that. Mm-hmm. But it honestly seems like you've taken your offensive game to another level. Like, did you see the replay of that when you made your first 3 again, or maybe it was your second 3? Mm-hmm. But he just like, you know, he just had this like, you know, super huge grin on his face, and was just like, it was like such a relief, or like, you know, just so happy for you that you saw that go through the basket. Do you have any response to that?
You know, Coach Drew was just excited that I got to see one go in the net. You know, he sees how hard I work throughout the week and daily. I think he was just excited, and my teammates were excited for me too, just to see one go in the net. Right.
Yeah. Yep. And then LJ, how do you feel your game has improved over the past 2 years? How many threes do you shoot daily? Do you have like a goal to make a certain amount of threes every day? And what NBA player or former college player do you try to model your game after?
We gotta go one question at a time.
Yeah. All right. The first one is, how do you feel like your game has improved over the past 2 years?
I feel like defensively, I've improved a lot. Just being active with my hands and just being comfortable dribbling the ball. I felt like last year and stuff, I wasn't able to, or wasn't comfortable due to like my injuries and stuff with coming off ball screens and trying to be my man off the dribble. But now I feel like I can get downhill more, create for others and create for myself. And what was the next question?
How many threes do you take a day?
Right now, I mean, I don't really put a number on it because when we're in the middle of the season, it varies depending on, like, how many minutes I played, stuff like that. So I try not to overdo it, but during the off season, I do try to take or have a number in mind. So
what is that number?
at least 500 in like the
Yeah.
off season, because I mean I have no games, so like that's like the minimum.
Yeah. And then what NBA players or former college players do you try to model your game after? And then I'll ask you the same question, Dale. Do you have I think you say Lillard?
Yeah, I like Lillard
yeah.
and Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. Are those the two?
Yeah.
Okay. And then Dale, anybody come to mind for you?
Terry Rozier.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Yeah, they both from Cleveland, same high school. Look, fun fact.
And you're a LeBron guy, right?
For
You're
sure.
a big LeBron fan.
For sure.
Yeah. All right. This is from Polo Bear. We all have bad days. What is y'all's recharge and reset routine after a loss? So you lose a game, you get beat pretty, by double digits. We've had it happen a couple times. The good news is, like, when that's happened to us this year, we've responded well. Obviously the one game against Iowa State at their place, then we lost the next one to TCU, what game we should have won. That was a frustrating one, and same with the Kansas State game. But after a loss, you've pretty much won the next game most of the time this year. The Marquette game comes to mind. Then you have a really good game against Gonzaga. So what's your routine? Like, how do you reset and recharge the batteries after a loss?
A routine as a team or personal?
Personal.
Oh, I mean, I just do the same thing I normally do every single day. I feel like win or loss, I'm not going to change up what I do. I feel like it's all about consistency because whatever I did for those wins, I did the same thing in them losses. So I might look back and say, like, I didn't have enough legs during the game because I overdid it during this workout. But, I mean, I just kind of reflect on what I did during the week to prepare for the game.
Yeah. Dale, do you have anything you do?
I just try and reflect and find things that we could have done differently. And personal, I just try and take care of my body.
Right.
Do some stretching. Probably get some shots up. I don't know how to sit down for real, so
Yeah.
probably end up going to the gym, doing something.
Do you, I know as a fan, I don't rewatch losses, so I won't rewatch this game. But as a player, do you rewatch the whole game, or do you just get sent clips of just your play, like the synergy clips, of just your plays? I mean, how does that process work?
I try and do a little bit of both.
Yeah.
The coaches are gonna send us some stuff, but I try and look at where we could improve on. And
Right.
where we had lapses at and throughout the game. So
Yeah.
I'm still going to watch it when
Right.
we lose.
And then one question, we were talking about this, but, it's this environment we have where people there's gamblers out there. They're going to be mad that you didn't cover the spread and things like that. Do you get some of that? Do you get those, like I know Maceo Teague had that issue after a loss, a really ugly, direct message? Is that something you deal with like on a regular basis, or is it pretty unusual?
I deal with it every game, honestly.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Definitely get some DMs. I try and expose people, sadly.
Yeah.
Throughout the DMs. I'm going to post it on my story. So definitely posted it if I feel like they try and
So you don't
go too
respond
crazy.
to them,
Nah.
but then you'll post their DMs.
Yeah, I post the DMs for sure.
That's a good way to
Only
handle it.
only the real crazy ones though. Like
Right.
if it's just something normal, like it's some wild DMs you get sometimes.
Right.
Thanks.
Right.
I be telling them get a job.
Yeah, see, I'm better than L. I'm not
Do
responding.
people at you? Like you're pretty much like, you guys spend most of your time on Instagram, on the social media. It's not much Twitter, right? Do you do some Twitter stuff also, or
It just
I
look
see
at it?
we see it all for sure.
Okay.
I try not to respond. I let my friends and stuff respond for
Right.
me. So
Right. Yeah.
yeah, I don't.
Part of the being a student athlete, huh? Just
Yeah, it's
comes
all
with
part of
territory.
it.
yeah, come with it.
Yeah. Interesting. Any other calls, Emory?
Nope.
No calls. All right. Well, hey, thanks, guys. I know this is tougher after a loss. Wait, I got one more question for you. If you were to be on the hot ones, how far do you think you could get in the challenge, and what would your strategy be? Do you even know what that is?
No,
I don't know what it is either.
It's that wing challenge where they got like
wing
celebrities eating different flavors, different like hotness of wings.
I don't like hot wing. I don't like anything spicy.
Okay.
So I probably wouldn't even do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't do it either.
I don't like spicy stuff.
Interesting. Well, hey, listen, thank you guys. Appreciate you coming into the studio. You've been listening to a Sikkim 365 postgame call-in show. Ashley Hodge, Dale Bonner, LJ Cryer, Sikkim Bears, beat TCU.